Cougars hopefully will find the end zone a little more this Saturday night at home against Iowa State. Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation, your Cougar Sports day-to-day play-by-play. Jarom, Jordan, Dave McCann. If you've been listening this year, it's been the first year of Hans Olsen doing analysis on the radio.
He's pretty good.
He's done a great job. Got a lot of personality and now joins the program. Of course, Hans from KSL Sports Zone and BYU Radio football analyst. Hans, how you doing, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Little concerned, little worried, little excited, little, I don't know, all the emotions, right? For Saturday's game against Iowa State, certainly BYU needs a win here to lock up bowl eligibility. Then you don't have to upset Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. So here we go against Iowa State. What do you make of the Cyclones, who have one of the best defenses in the league and the offense at times struggles? Sounds like somebody we know.
Yeah. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a real challenge. I think they've got some fantastic players on the back end. I think that TJ Tampa is probably one of the better corners in the country. I think Miles Purchase is one of the better corners in the country. They get just enough pressure. So defensively, they're gonna do it upright, and they've got a safety in Bo Freiler that's just really good, really versatile, does a lot of good things. And then offensively, they put this new coordinator in place because Iowa State was the number 4 defense in the country last year and was like the number 130 offense. They couldn't do anything. And this new coordinator, I think, is coming along. I think he's figuring out what he can and can't get away with. And Rocco Becht, he's just one of those freshman quarterback that doesn't know better. And so he does things that if he knew better, he probably wouldn't do. It's going to be a very, very tough challenge. I think that this is a better team than West Virginia. That might have proved out differently somewhere, but I'm telling you, this is a really good Iowa State team.
Hans, we all like new things. You want to spruce up the living room, you buy a new couch. BYU's got a new quarterback. Jake Retzlaff going to start again for his second Division I start after playing against West Virginia. What do you anticipate from Retzlaff that might make a difference this week?
Well, I'm hoping that one-game experience kind of settles him in a bit, but I really felt like he was more settled in than a lot of quarterbacks in his situation. I would like to see his teammates help him more. And I know that he missed a pass, but there were a couple of drop passes, blatantly dropped. Chase Roberts dropped one, Keelan Marion dropped one, that were right in their hands. So teammates need to really pick things up. Isaac Rex had one in his hands. Now, he took a hard hit. That was been a tough catch to come down with, but I'd like to see those guys help him. I'd like to see his offensive line help him secure up some of those blocks, secure up that pocket. Retzlaff is interesting. I know that he wants to be a pass-first quarterback, and I think he does fancy himself as that. But when a rushing opportunity opens up, he takes off, and there's going to be openings against Iowa State that he'll have an opportunity to run. What I would hope is and challenge him is stay and deliver if possible, because I think Iowa State's going to do what West Virginia did specifically in the second half of that game when they started to get a feel for Retzlaff. They're going to zone him out. They're going to rush 3 and zone him out. And then when he takes off running, they're going to try to keep him for 4 yards. They're going to try to really force a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 back into a passing situation. And then they're going to hit him with some of those different mechanics on the inside to trick him. And West Virginia did a really good job. They started rushing 3 and zoning out, and he would rush a little bit. And because they're zoned, their faces are towards the quarterback, so they just come up and make that stop. And I'm telling you, Retzlaff is good. He just needs to make sure he's distributing when the opportunity is there.
He's certainly a proven passer, almost 4,600 yards, 44 touchdowns last year at Riverside City College. But what if, to your point, this is 2000 when Brandon Noman comes in and they just go, you know what, let's just use your running skill set. What if BYU just says, we're going to have, Jake, you're going to establish the run here, little speed option here, little RPO there, which we saw a little bit against West Virginia, to play to his strengths. Because at this point, Hans, we've seen 9 games of BYU football. There's nothing drastically different is going to happen. So how does BYU do enough to beat Iowa State on offense?
Well, I like the concept, but with Brandon Noman, it was nice because he had Luke Staley right next to him, and they had a couple of All-Americans on the front, and that was just a really good blocking front. And you don't have those right now. You've got a scheme that's breaking down and defensive coordinators that are winning the numbers game with different linebacker rotations or different zone looks. They're winning the numbers battle. So when BYU's trying to run a counter off the right side, they're pulling their left guard and their left tackle, and they're coming around. They've got one extra defender on that side that's unblocked. So you could try it. You could go for it, and you could see if you can just get that run game going. But it feels like there's some mismatches in the blocking schemes, and but I also I don't hate it because it's like, well, you got to do something because as you mentioned coming into this segment, you got to get more than one touchdown late in junk time in order to be in this game against Iowa State. So I don't mind them trying anything at this point. It's just I look at some of their blocking issues and some of the scheme issues and the running back that you got running with you and the running game kind of falling flat in general, 60 yards, it feels like week in and week out. And I don't know if that's the answer. I feel like the answer is Isaac Rex. I feel like the answer is Chase Roberts. And I feel like the answer is throwing out of the backfield and trying to move it that way because I guess I feel that defeated about the BYU run situation at this point.
Hans Olsen's with us on BYU Sports Nation, played defensive line for BYU. Now, when you were at the Colts, you were on both the defensive line and the offensive line, so that makes you an expert for this question. Which line are you most concerned about on Saturday, the offensive line or the defensive line?
Wow. Well, it's funny you asked that, Dave, because I was just doing film review this morning, and I was watching some of the defensive line issues, giving up 350 yards plus to West Virginia's run game. And so I'm looking at some of the different gap issues that BYU was struggling with, and they were calling some heavy slant plays. They were calling what we used to call like either a ram slant or a lion slant. And you're just going across the offensive lineman's face and you're going into the gap that's opposite of the side that you line up on. And if you have a defensive tackle that does that and gets across the guard's face, and you have a defensive end that tries to do it but can't get across the tackle's face, then what happens is the D tackle is running out, the D end gets stopped, and your gap opens just like that. And that happened so many times against West Virginia where the ends were getting cut off. Those West Virginia offensive linemen, they were just beating them. They were sealing them off and they were beating them in their ram and line calls, which are tough. I always loved ram and line slants. I loved them because it felt like as a defensive lineman, it was putting me into the play so I could potentially make a tackle. But if you get cut off, it creates large gaps. And that was happening against West Virginia. So I've got a lot of concern there. Probably more concern for the defensive line at this point. Iowa State's going to give you some pass rush. They're going to give you some front rush. But that defensive line has really got to hold up. I don't know. It's equal, though, Dave. Really. I mean, that's tough. And I guess my consternation right now is more leading to the point that both don't really have my full hope or my full confidence at this point.
A relative of Merlin Olsen would love a ram slant, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You would.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we just called it the Merlin slant.
Yeah, exactly. You got a picture in the background. I think they're in the office, which is great. Okay.
I do, the fearsome foursome.
Yeah, hey, one of the all-time D-lines. BYU needs to be a little more fearsome among its foursome coming up Saturday against Iowa State. Now, certainly BYU could pull off the upset against Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. But it feels like this Saturday is the one you probably need to get if you're going to get to a bowl game. So what kind of urgency and sense of urgency do you have relative to what this game means for this season? Because at 5-2, we thought bowl game is locked in. At this point, no, it's not. You need to show up Saturday.
I called that Texas Tech game the Alamo, and I think I was on with you the week that we called that game. And I felt like if you didn't beat Texas Tech, I felt like a bowl game was pretty much impossible at that point. So you had to get that one to get to this point, because there's not 2 wins left in this 3. At least it doesn't feel like there's 2 wins left in this 3. Oklahoma is beatable. And I think that if BYU played their guts out, figured out some consistency, they would be in that game at home against Oklahoma. Oklahoma State seems much more difficult to me at this point now, being on multiple BYU road games and being in those stadiums, TCU, and big blowout in TCU, and Texas, a big blowout, West Virginia, a big blowout. Those road games have been really difficult for this BYU team. So I don't count on Oklahoma State at all. Oklahoma, what probability? Less than 20%.
Hans, it sounds to me like the key then is to remember the Alamo, remember Texas Tech and how you beat them, and then you can do it again, right?
Just go plus 5 again? Just be gifted 2 fumbles?
Remember the Alamo.
Just remember the Alamo. And whatever you picked up in that game, 150 yards rushing and really starting to feel like a team, you got to find it against Iowa State and get it going, because, I really want to make this point, guys. I know that everybody wants to try to point the finger at one thing, and it's just not. It's everywhere. It's coaches, it's scheme, it's players. Everybody is playing a role in some of these road blowouts that we've just watched, these back-to-back road blowouts that we just watched. And everybody's got to play better. There was a drive in the first quarter. It was 1st and 10. They had a perfect screen set up. They go to pitch the screen out to Keelan Marion. It hits him in the hands, and he drops it. 2nd and 10, they find Cody on a corner route. Cody Epps runs a corner route. He's just past the marker, and Retzlaff overthrows him by 5-6 feet above his head. So then you go to 3rd and 10. Retzlaff scrambles for 8 yards. It was nice. 3-man rush. He scrambles into it for 8 yards. 4th and 2. An offensive lineman on the play side of a run just completely whiffs. Doesn't block his edge. Doesn't even touch his guy. Hardly touches his guy. Guy comes through, makes a 2-yard tackle for a loss. You're out on downs. That's a receiver dropping a ball, a quarterback overthrowing, an offensive lineman missing a block, and you're out on downs to start the second half after that kickoff return was called back to start the second half. 1st and 10, perfect throw to Chase Roberts in the seam. It was perfect off of spread trips. Roberts right up the seam, perfect throw by Retzlaff. Chase Roberts drops it. It's right in his hands. 2nd and 10, really nice run. Blocked well, 5 yards. 3rd and 5. The right guard and the center can't pick up a 3-man stunt. Pressure comes right up the middle, and they tackle Retzlaff on the 8-yard line, and they get him off the field with a punt. Guys, it's offensive line. It's quarterback overthrowing. It's scheme issues. It's like watching that West Virginia film. I just looked at it all and I said, you can't put blame anywhere. Every one of those guys on that team have to look at each other and say, we all dropped the ball. And if they can come back together and play for each other and just do their assignments, then they can beat Iowa State. They really can, just like they beat Texas Tech. They can. It's just it's a lot to ask of a team that has looked really disconnected.
Well, luckily Iowa State stinks at defense. Oh wait, they're number 1 in total defense. Dang it. Well, let's see what happens Saturday night. BYU's got to show up, certainly. Hans, great breakdown. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to hear you call on Saturday. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.